It's a pretty name.
She is the prettiest girl I've ever seen.
What happened?
I fucked up. Bad.
I doubt that.
Well, she was driving me home, and it was a night like a million other nights. She looked so pretty in the moonlight, and I just couldn't stop staring at her. That when we stopped driving, I leaned in and I kissed her.
She didn't take it well.
No. She said that she's not interested in me like that. We probably shouldn't hang out anymore.
I'm sorry.
Is there something wrong with me? Am I disgusting or something?
Of course not. You're just at that age where you're figuring things out.
Does it end?
I don't know.
Well, you figured things out. You married Dad.
I'm still human. I still have
Good Listener shifts away from taboo and instead centers on emotional honesty, mentorship, and queer self-discovery, making it a powerful SFW exploration of LGBTQ+ themes in cinema. The plot follows Rose, a young adult woman newly grappling with heartbreak whose first serious relationship with another woman has ended. Overwhelmed by grief and confusion, she seeks solace from Reya, an older friend and mentor who has long provided guidance and stability. This dynamic sets up a narrative familiar in LGBTQ+ storytelling. A younger person looking to an older, more experienced individual for understanding at a moment of vulnerability. The film opens with Rose in visible distress, mascara streaked from tears, a physical manifestation of emotional unraveling that contrasts with Reya's composed presence. When Reya comforts Rose, she does so first as a confidant, offering gentle reassurances, making tea, listening without judgment. Qualities often absent in depictions of older women in mainstream media, where they are frequently portrayed as either villains or comic relief. This caring, patient mentorship reflects the intergenerational support structures that have historically been crucial in LGBTQ+ communities, where chosen families and informal mentorship networks have filled gaps left by unsupportive homes or institutions. As Rose begins to open up about her heartbreak, the film invites the audience to witness the process of self-understanding and self-acceptance, making visible the often invisible labor of healing after a queer breakup. At the same time, Reya experiences her own awakening. She notices her growing affection and attraction for Rose, feelings she may have pushed aside due to age differences, mentorship roles, or internalized expectations about who she should love. This subplot resonates with broader conversations in queer culture about late bloomers, women coming out later in life, and the fluidity of attraction. Rather than sensationalizing the age difference or power dynamic, the film's SFW approach treats it as a point of reflection. Reya questions her motives, worries about boundaries, and ultimately prioritizes Rose's well-being over her own desire. This moral introspection distinguishes the story from exploitative narratives and aligns it with contemporary queer ethics, where consent, agency, and self-awareness are central. Cinematically, Good Listener mirrors the emotional intimacy through soft lighting, lingering close-ups, and the absence of overt sexualization. The almond hues and gentle framing evoke a sense of safety and warmth, reinforcing that what's happening is about emotional connection, not spectacle. Dialogue plays a crucial role. Reya and Rose speak openly about their fears, heartbreaks, and hopes, modeling what healthy queer communication can look like. This contrasts sharply with mainstream depictions of lesbian relationships that often rely on secrecy, shame, or abrupt melodrama. In this film, queerness is not a scandal, but a reality to be processed and embraced. The climax of the story, rather than a sexual act, is the moment when Rose realizes she is not broken or undesirable because of her heartbreak, and that another adult woman sees and values her wholly. Reya, too, recognizes that her care for Rose comes from a place of respect and shared experience, not conquest or predation. This framing flips a common trope on its head. Instead of an older mentor initiating a younger woman, the mentor offers a mirror in which the younger woman can see her own worth and potential. The queer lens here is not about titillation, but about mutual recognition and the healing power of solidarity and affection. By grounding their connection in conversation, care, and emotional resonance, the film draws on a lineage of lesbian and bisexual cinema that foregrounds intimacy over spectacle, from 1980s art house dramas to contemporary streaming series that explore mentorship and intergenerational dialogue within queer communities. From a cultural perspective, Good Listener also taps into the enduring theme of chosen family. Rhea effectively becomes Rose's chosen support system, stepping into a gap left by others. This reflects a broader truth. LGBTQ+ people often build networks of care beyond traditional family structures, finding safety, validation, and even romance in these spaces. Yet the film also acknowledges the tension this can create, especially when boundaries blur. Rhea's internal struggle, wanting to support Rose yet also feeling drawn to her, serves as a narrative device to explore ethical queer adulthood, how to navigate desire responsibly, how to balance mentorship with mutual attraction, and how to move from one dynamic to another without harm. In doing so, the story offers a counter-narrative to exploitative power dynamics and models a slower, more thoughtful approach to intimacy. Another important layer of analysis is the representation of heartbreak itself. For many young queer people, the first breakup with someone of the same gender can feel doubly isolating because it's not always recognized or validated by their surrounding culture. By showing Rose's pain with empathy, Good Listener validates queer heartbreak as worthy of the same narrative seriousness as heterosexual heartbreak, helping to normalize and destigmatize such experiences. Likewise, Rhea's attraction to Rose is portrayed not as deviance, but as part of her own ongoing self-discovery, a nod to the fluidity of sexual orientation, and the reality that many adults, especially women, experience shifts in their attractions over time. In terms of LGBTQ+ culture, the film can be read as an allegory for mutual healing. Rose's tears and vulnerability create a space for Rhea to confront her own desires honestly, while Rhea's steadiness gives Rose the courage to be open about her identity and heartbreak. This reciprocal dynamic echoes feminist and queer theories about care work, affect, and relationality. The idea that our emotional lives are co-constructed and that healing is often a communal rather than individual process. The film's title, Good Listener, underscores this theme. Listening, both literal and metaphorical, becomes the core of their connection. In a society that often silences young queer voices, Rhea's attentive listening models an ethic of care, while Rose's willingness to be heard represents a reclaiming of agency. The result is a cinematic meditation on how two women at different stages of life can hold space for one another, learn from each other, and potentially transform their relationship into something new and affirming. By the end of the film, the viewer is left not with a salacious spectacle but with a sense of hope that queer mentorship, chosen family, and intergenerational friendship can create pathways to healing and self-acceptance. And that romance, when it emerges from such a foundation, can be ethical, supportive, and deeply nurturing. This approach also mirrors broader shifts in LGBTQ+ media toward more nuanced, everyday portrayals of queer life, moving beyond the binary of tragedy versus eroticization to offer stories about care, patience, and growth. In doing so, Good Listener contributes to an ongoing cultural project, normalizing queer love stories as complex human stories, full of tenderness, self-questioning, and mutual respect, and demonstrating that LGBTQ+ cinema can be compelling and emotionally rich without relying on sensationalism.